Good morning, Chairwoman Velasquez and members of the committee. Thank you for inviting me to address this committee. My name is Chris Velasquez, and I have been ranching all my life. My great-grandpa ranched in the same area where I currently ranch. In 1995, my wife and I were awarded the Rangeland Management Award for New Mexico. I am not opposed for the oil companies to drill on BLM lands if they do it on a responsible manner. In 2006, because of the increased number of wells, pipelines, roads on 22,000 acres of our allotment made it uneconomical to run summer cattle there. I felt I had to sell it. This allotment was the most impacted of the BLM field office of the allotments. Roads, pipelines, well pads, sandstone quarries, disposal, and transmission sites all are the results of reducing availability to natural forage for the cattle and wildlife. The industry is reluctant to follow reasonable business practice to remedy this business losses, not paying on a reasonable amount of damage money in a reasonable amount of time. I haven't been paid damages yet for a calf injured by a vehicle in March of 2007, or for cattle that escaped on the same time due to lack of required cattle guard maintenance. This is a compressor station within 2 miles of my home. The level of the noise is so high it reaches inside my home. This map is from around 2004 from Google Earth, shows the area of our ranch. Each white dot is a well pad or an associated oil and gas location. A spider web of roads and pipelines fracture the area and make ranching less and less profitable. These are two more aerial photos of the ranch. In 2005, this BP online pit was full of oil byproducts and oil field trash. The fencing around this pit did not meet BLM standards. My cattle, as well as wildlife, had easy access to this contamination. BP constructed a land farm for remediating contaminated soil within 100 feet of slightly uphill of this livestock watering pond. This was done on my private property without my permission. I found this pond one day with a thick, oily film of water. My cattle were drinking from it. I took 3 test samples from it. 1 sample showed positive petroleum content, and 3 showed traces of petroleum content. BP made no effort to respond to this problem. On March 8, 2008, I observed this cow drinking from this tank. This tank was dry when I found it, but had 19 inches of liquid, and it recently, which was evidenced from the oily film level mark on the inside of the tank. My whole herd was in this area and also had access to this tank. Chicken wire is not sufficient barrier. This tank should have had either a complete expanded metal cover on or approved BLM fence around it to protect access to livestock and wildlife. I have complained twice to BP and BLM about oiling around the compressor and the holding tanks without screening at this site. This is just another example of the threat to my ranching business I face on a daily basis from the oil and gas industry. This is the same cow that was drinking from the last of the fluids in this tank on March 8th. Notice the hair loss around the muzzle and around the ears, which on both sides of her nose are falling off, and then the back ear she didn't have, and then alongside her neck she had white spots that were she was losing her hair. My pregnant cows have also aborted their calves after drinking contaminated liquid at well sites. I had a licensed veterinarian take blood samples of this specific cow and 3 more from this herd on April 4th. By phone on Thursday, April 10th, he reported to me that 3 out of the 4 cows tested positive with toxic damage to the livers and kidneys. This means that I will have at least 3 cows out of this herd and probably more that will either die or be infertile, and this is just one of the many times industrial has failed to properly fence dangerous areas injuring my cows. Will the industrial pay this damages? Their track record shows that it will take me time and effort to extract any damages from BP for this breach of BLM regulations. The industrial should be practice standards, best practice standards. This is just another picture of a calf losing hair, body hair. This calf was also tested positive with oil byproducts. The road conditions are a major problem in the area on my allotment. This picture shows the result of flat blading. Flat blading creates a road surface that does not allow water to drain to the side of the road properly. The ruts in this road are over 2 feet deep. Note the pitchfork with a yellow flag, forcing traffic to go around the main travel road, destroying additional natural surface areas. This is another example of flat blading. Note the 12-inch high-pressure gas line transmission line that has been excavated by erosion runoff. Also note that putting the pitting on the rust on the outer surface. If heavy equipment or an accidental vehicle contact would have hit this pipeline, it could have ruptured it, causing a fiery explosion and death or injury to anyone close by. No safety barriers were in place here to notify travelers of the hazard. On public lands in the national treasure of all to enjoy, as a rancher, I am committed to its protect. And reasonable oil and gas production has destroyed many parts of our public lands. This damage will persist for lifetimes. It is time to enforce the law and require proper land stewardship from oil and gas. As a rancher, I want my business protected from these impacts of oil and gas industry. Thank you.